2020 was a very tough and trying year, not for just one country, but for the whole world. As we know, a very unexpected virus caught the globe by surprise and changed our way of life as we know it. During the COVID-19 pandemic, companies shut down and schools closed nationwide, limiting access to food, medication, healthcare, and education, causing a worldwide panic. Fast forward to today, with the help of vaccines and advanced medical care, we've come a long way in our battle of ending this pandemic. Unfortunately, the virus mutated, rendering vaccines less effective and kids more vulnerable to this unknown disease. Kids are going to school and catching COVID at alarming rates. Hospital beds are filling up with kids across the country, raising uncertainty for parents and governments everywhere. At Mayat K-12, we took swift action and converted fully into online operations and brought private school to the doorsteps of children nationwide, providing free tutoring and countless hours of help to children, keeping your babies safe in their homes. We pride ourselves as the best private school to care for your children during these very trying times, and we expect another amazing year for our students across the country. Bring your child back to Mayat University because we care, we pay attention, and we love. Mayat K-12. Let's have another amazing year. Click the link below and enroll now.
Yes indeed, family. One more word from our sponsors before we begin. All right, hold on. Yeah, we back, baby. All right, coming up this week. All right, coming up this week for everybody that is going to be in the Tucson, Arizona, the Crypto Convergence in Tucson, Arizona. For all of the family that plan on being out there and turning up with us, we have a special announcement to make. On Thursday, February the 4th, 2422, on Thursday, we will be doing a special workshop called Dropping Gems, featuring Ras Ben and our good brother Illuminati Congo. Hosted by your brother Red Pillar, and we will be dropping music. We will be dropping NFTs. Brother Ras Ben is going to do a live tour where he will take you through the gem show and show you the gems and the crystals that you need for this new cryptocurrency and this era that we're in. You know, I've always said that you could see the stock market always flustering, falling, and you know, having ups and downs, but you'll never see that happen in a rock market, because diamonds, crystals, and gemstones and precious metals, they don't waver. They don't go up and down. They appreciate. So tap in. It will be taking place on KTLUniversity.com. We've improved our techniques with ticket selling, going through Eventbrite and going right to Zoom. We eliminated Eventbrite. Now you can go directly through the website, KTLUniversity.com, and you'll have access to the Zoom lecture. And then you won't even have to wait for us to email it to you for the replays, because it will always be sitting right on the website, and you'll have access to it, you know, forever. It'll be a lifetime access. So with that being said, we're going to get into this show. All right, brother, family, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Melanin Mondays, episode 183. This episode, we are going to be dealing with black, the word black, coincidentally, right before the beginning of what they call Black History Month. We have a lesson. We have KTL University presents our good brother, ABDULLAH MOSI BEY, all right, who I consider to be one of our master teachers in the Moorish paradigm. This brother has been with Know the Ledge. He is alumni. He's been with us since the Blog Talk era days, all right, going all the way back to Blog Talk era days. This brother is alumni. I had the pleasure of being in class when his brother taught at the National Black Theater at Sister Rosmariah Bey's classes on Wednesday, and brother Taj Tariq as well, and the Moorish civil letter. and the brother has authored multiple books. So you are in for a treat tonight. Get your pens, get your pads out. This is going to be a lesson. This is going to be a lesson, and you need to take notes. Before we get to it, let's go ahead and let's take the, first of all, give Little Goddess a hand. She's in the building. Give her some emoji love. All right. Give her some emoji love and whatnot. And then let's go ahead. Let's do a roll call. All right. Because we do that every time. Let's go ahead and do the roll call. See who's in the building. And then we're going to go right into it and open up the floor for our guest for tonight. All right. Peace to the family. Peace to y'all. All right. It feels great being back. We were actually, on paper, they told us we won't get our channel back until April. If you don't know by now, we were shut down about 2 weeks ago after the last broadcast that we did. They sent me a strike, and it wasn't even the broadcast that we did. It was a broadcast that I did with Blue Pill, the IG Live, where I was calling for the rites of passage for our children, right? Because I was saying it is essential for the youth, the young men and women, to have some form of rites of passage. And I was saying that we need to have a retreat where we collectively come together and cover them, right? To protect them in whatever way you see fit, whatever speaks to you, whatever you've been prepared to do to protect you and yours. I'm like, yo, why don't we just really come together for these children? And that video, they said, was going against what they call is their mandates. And to be honest with you, as a result of that, I did not play the victim. You did not see me emoting all over social media. What did Red Pill do? Red Pill went behind the scenes. I tapped into my Discord, where I'm joined by quality of membership geniuses. I'm going to drop the link in a minute so y'all could be a part of that. And what did we do? We went ahead and we built out, along with my personal team, we went ahead and we built out KTLUniversity.com. And what do we do with KTLUniversity.com? We put all of the lectures that I've done over the past few years, what we call in these nowadays, in these technological times, proof of work, right? Your proof of work is the work that you've done, especially if you have a timestamp. So nobody could tell me that I didn't do the evolution will be digitized in 2015, because when I did it, I timestamped it. I made sure that I said this is 2015, and this is the information that I'm giving to the conscious community. The Black community is going to benefit off of it. It's almost like a drip. Once you give it to the upper echelons, then the people that are being the students in the audience, they benefit off of it going into the years moving forward. And now when I look around and I look at this space, I see thousands of people, millions of people, but I see a lot of people inside of these smaller circles benefiting off of that information and what that information has come to pass. So we have multiple lectures on KTL University. Not only do we have multiple lectures on KTL University, but I promised the family that we were going to roll out a book club. So what do we have on KTL University? We're going to have our book club. We're going to have a cyber library, so you could tap in and you could be in the side of a library. You might even be able to do it in the metaverse. Hold on. And also, we gave we put the capability to live stream and to do our workshops, our lectures, our online lectures, and our seminars right through our websites. Because I'm gonna let y'all know this. Let's say this real quick. I'm like, for 2022, I'm doing a few events where I'm going to be doing retreats. I'm going to be doing a few live appearances, which I call special appearances. But other than that, I'm not going to be inside of no venues where people could just be touching me and running up on me. Like, those days are over. I'm not accessible like that. We going to holler at each other either in the metaverse or maybe through these cameras for a while, because there's a lot of work to be done. And I promise you, being too accessible is not the move right now. It's not the move. The sound effects are low. How was that? You know? So we got to get comfortable with being able to tap into each other the ways that, you know. And to be honest with you, they're about to create, I won't say that they're about to create. I'm not going to affirm that. I ain't even going to put that out there. There's a moon on. Nah, I ain't even going to put that out there. So let's go ahead and do the roll call and get to the show. You know what I mean? Let's get to the show. But like I said, we have KTL University for our students to pull up to, and we have the Discord, which is doing leaps and bounds over what Instagram and other social media platforms had done for us, because the Discord, Know the Ledger, is social network. It's a whole nother beast. We get a lot done over there, and there's access to a lot of information, and it's the quality of membership. You know what I mean? So I encourage all of the listeners, everybody that's pulling up to these YouTube channels, you know, don't bet on YouTube being here forever. And, you know, I would challenge you to remove yourself from being comfortable in this comfort zone and take yourself somewhere else where better things are happening, because you'll be one of those people who be sitting on YouTube talking about, oh, what's going on and what's happening and whatnot. Nothing is going on where you're at. Nothing is happening in your bubble. Nothing is happening on those chatty patty channels where y'all just be arguing and debating and doing old paradigm shit. There's nothing going on over there. You're correct. But there's a world of things going on in private places and in places where it's about quality of membership. And to be honest with you, some places where everybody's not invited. So let's go ahead and do the roll call, y'all. Let's do the roll call. Louisville, Kentucky is in the building. Salute to Louisville, Kentucky. All right, live and direct from Morocco. All right, we got the Moors in the building. Norfolk is in the building. Shout out to my VA family. AZ is in the building. Shout out to my AZ family. I'll see y'all in a few in a day. Washington State, salute to y'all. All right. Khalifa's in the building. That's right. Northwest Georgia's in the building. Louisville tapped in. All right. Boston is in the building. Brooklyn is in the building. NC is in the building. Shout out to all of the family all around the world. West Los Angeles in the building. I see you. Fort Worth. Okay then. Memphis, what's up now? All right. Florida's in the building. All right. Lenape Hoking is in the building. All right. The Bronx is in the building. Dublin, Georgia. Spartanburg, Pittsburgh, Minneapolis, Chicago, Illinois, yay area, yay, Barlow. All right. I see everybody in the building. So salute to everybody. You already know what it is. The whole world is tapped in. Shout out to all of my Moors, Islam. Shout out to all of my Black Power brothers and sisters. Hotep to my brothers and sisters of the Kemetic Nation. Shalom to my Israelites. Y'all already know what it is. It's a global affair. The whole family is here. And you know what we do. You are now rocking with the best. This is Know the Ledge. This is your brother, Red Pillar. How do the effects sound now? Is it a little higher? You know what it is? Y'all might be hearing it going through, just hearing it through my headphones, hitting the mic and whatnot. Y'all might not. Just might. Hold on. Okay, let's go. Is that better? Okay.
To this day. It's lit. It's lit. To this day.
Yeah, I knew something was going on. There we go. I knew something was going on. All right, y'all. So let's go. I had to get my sound together before I brought the Moor up in here. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my brother, your brother, the good brother, Abdullah Mosley BEY. Let's go. Hey.
To this day. To this day.
Sir. Peace, brother. How you doing, Dooley?
Peace, peace.
Peace, King. How's everything?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Welcome back to the platform. Please briefly just.
Oh, yes. Thank you for having me back. I've been, about 5-6 times already?
Yes.
It's been a minute.
It's been a stretch of about, what are we looking at? 2000. You know, they talk about doing a 10-year challenge. Like, we did the 10-year challenge when it comes to these guest appearances. You've been with us for more than 10 years, my brother.
Yes.
So yes, Islam.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's great to still see you active. It's great to still see you out there putting out information, disseminating information, feeding the masses, inspiring the masses. Because I remember, and I'm gonna just say this briefly, when the school of thought of etymology was presented to us, right? This was in New York City in the National Black Theater, I believe in the years of 2008, 2007. This brother right
2006.
2006. Yes, this brother right here. This brother right here. Because a lot of people talk about etymology, but we at Know the Ledge, we're vanguards for what you call consciousness, because the reason why our integrity and our character remains what it is because we stay true to the history, right? We don't allow false narratives to become realities around and not in our circumference and whatnot. So we put, you know, we're stamping in this metaverse or in this quote unquote in cyberspace. We're giving people the validation, the certification, and also time stamping their contributions. Because if you left it up to certain other people, they will wipe the whole slate clean of the contributions of many people, and they would even take it for them. They'll take the accolades for themselves. But this brother right here pushed the etymology narrative so heavy down the throats of the students inside of those Moorish classes that it was almost to the point where we was mad at him. Remember that? It was like, yo.
Well, I challenge people to think. People to think.
I didn't know the addiction that certain people had to their quote unquote perception of their truths until I began to see the results or people's reaction inside of etymology classes where they had to let go of words that for their whole life, these were their words of power, like bless. Niggas was saying bless you all their life. Come to find out that bless is bloodletting, right? Mm-hmm. And it's almost a negative word. We were saying that that's nice, only to come to find out what nice really meant. People were running around cloaking themselves, claiming themselves, I'm black this, black that. And then that created a crack in the egg and in a civil war, right? Where people would not let go of black, almost to the point where individuals almost came to physical blows over that word, right? But the facts are the facts, and the truth is the truth, and the truth don't need to apologize. So I'm just giving you your flowers, brother, and I appreciate the fact that you spearheaded and you vanguarded the etymology, the returning of, you know, that school of thought and whatnot. And now a lot of people I see are really, you know, they're really researching the words that they use because they know that these words are spells and words cast spells.
Right on, brother. Thank you. I greatly appreciate you.
No doubt.
Thank you.
Indeed. So let's talk about what it is that we are going to talk about tonight. They often say that timing, everything is about timing. It's all about timing, right? You know, you want to be in the right place at the right time. And sometimes when you have certain conversations at the right time, it will be considered perfect timing. Now, this conversation that we're about to have tonight, I consider this to be right on time and in perfect timing, because just last week, my brother Blue Pill and the good brother Mansa, right? They were on Cheyenne, you know, Mansa's brother Cheyenne, the liberator. His name is now Mansa, right? So they were on Brother Rich's channel, Black Magic 363, speaking about the doctrine of discovery, having a collegiate and a scientific approach to breaking down what the doctrine of discovery is and the effects that it had on our people through both religion and also what we identified as slavery, right? So the way that they meticulously broke it down, here we find ourselves tonight on the cusp of what we heard, what we know, or what we've been told is Black History Month, right? A month that, when we really think about it over the years, those of us that were taught about Blackness and Black figures in Black history during this month, we came to find out later on down the line, we were only given about 30% of the story. There's so many names, there's so many events, there's so many great things about our people that they forgot to mention on Black History Month. I'm talking about when I was in grades, when I was in school, and they were responsible for teaching us about ourselves. They only gave us like 5 people: Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson, Kunta Kinte, and somebody else. So it's like, I want to examine this word. You know, I want to revisit the word black and what it means. I want to revisit the word Blackamoor. And I want you and I want the family to learn tonight about the history of this word and how it came about, or rather this status, or this identity for that matter, or this misnomer, you know. So I would definitely open up the floor and let you, you know, begin to do what it is that you do, my brother, teaching the people.
You want to start with the first question?
Yes, yes, indeed.
Start, okay. Yeah. So let's just use
so
the. Yeah,
I'm gonna ask. Yes, I'm gonna ask my good brother some questions, and then we'll take it from there. Like I said, if y'all got to take notes, and you know, just go ahead and do your Googles and your researches. And if you have questions, we'll be definitely we'll answer them. We'll be able to answer them. So my first question to you, in the name of this lecture for y'all, if y'all just getting in here, is from Moor to Blackamoor to Black. Do y'all see that process? Right? It's almost like a Hegelian dialect. From Moor to Blackamoor to Black. Okay. Explain Dr. Martin Luther King's statement in his "I Have a Dream" speech, judged by the color of their skin.
Yes. Now, because of indoctrination and the connotative meaning that has been applied to the word color, Dr. King used it in a connotative sense to relate to complexion. The word color, in its etymology, as well as its legal meaning, has nothing to do with, absolutely nothing to do with complexion, skin tone. The word color etymologically means the word color means to hide or conceal. The legal meaning in the Black's Law Dictionary, Henry Campbell Black, the 4th, 5th edition, a simulacrum, a artifice, a contradistinction from that which is real, a pretense. So you have an artificial plant, a live plant. You would associate the word color as in its legal sense with the artificial plant. So now, why did Dr. King use the word color in that constructive, connotative sense to associate to complexion? Now you have the fathers of the race paradigm, Francois Bernier, Carl Linnaeus, and Johann Friedrich Blumenbach. Francois Bernier, a French craniologist in the 1500s. Carl Linnaeus, a Swedish naturalist in the 1600s. And his protege, Johann Friedrich Blumenbach, in the 1700s. Now, what they did was develop a construct based on phenotype, hair texture, skin tone, and brain size to classify the human family away from their consanguinity, ancestry, lineage, pedigree, descent, genealogy, parentage. So now you have this advent of describing using constructive, descriptive words. So this is where you have our people thinking that they're black, associating the word black with with their complexion, thinking that their identity is based on their complexion. I am black, and you will ask, well, why you say you're black? And you would get a perplexed look. Red pill, what do you think? Red pill, are you crazy? Why do you ask me that question, Red pill?
Right.
Don't you look at me? Look at me, Red pill. Look
Right.
at me.
Don't I look black?
Why would you ask me a ridiculous question, Red pill? Why would you ask me, Red pill? Why do I think I'm black? Red pill, here's my glasses.
Right.
You can't see me, Red pill? All right, so that has been injected in us.
Right.
So judged by the color of our skin, we're not judged by one. We talked about the word color, gave the etymology and legal word. We're not, in fact, judged by our complexion. We're not judged by our complexion. As we go further on in this interview, we're going to make it abundantly clear that our abuse,
right,
has nothing to do with what we look like. That's been fed to us. That's like diversion. I take your candy, and then you ask me, well, why do you take my candy? I use a diversion, and I got you arguing something else other than the candy. Got you arguing about curtains now, which means it's a diversion. It's not the actual issue. It's not the birthright issue. It's not the loss of more sovereignty issue. So this we're not, our mistreatment is based on what we look like. All right. So let's go to the next question.
Yeah. Pardon me, y'all. Pardon me. We back. All right. Pardon me for the little technical difficulties. You know, this is some retrograde silver surfing things going on, especially with this moon. So yeah, we good. Can y'all hear me? Are we good? All right, we good. We good. We Gucci. That was a smoke break. That was the cosmos. Like, yo, sun is heating up. Go roll up. That's what that was. You know what I'm talking about? That's what that was. All right. So Dula, if you are in the building, just hit the link and we Gucci. We get right back to it. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to sage the room. Ashe. Okay. So, but while we wait for our good brother to come back real quick, I'll just use this time for a quick announcements, a little commercial break while the brother gets some water. All right. On the 4th of February, that means in a few days, we are going to be doing a workshop with our good brother. Hold on. We're gonna be doing a workshop with Ross Ben and Illuminati Congo out there in Tucson, Arizona. All right, it's called Dropping Gems. Okay, let's pull that up. I don't want to pull up. Let me see if this way. And we're gonna also be doing, before we do the Dropping Gems, we're gonna be doing a concert, a lecture. It's gonna have me, Ross Ben, Lizzie Jeff, Illuminati Congo, Sauce Guard, a whole bunch of us. That's a 3-day situation called the Crypto Convergence. That's in Tucson, Arizona. So if you don't know about it, go on my page and you'll find out about it. And if you could get down there, please make it your business, because that's history right there. Yes, indeed. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the like button, hit the share button. Our brother's going to come in here and drop some information. You feel me? He's going to answer questions that we have. We have about 10 good questions to ask the brother tonight. And we're going to let him get into his bag, right? As we mosey on into Black History Month, we can now walk into Black History Month, right, with our eyes open, with a different set of lens, right? And you'll see things differently. You'll be able to look at it through a special lens, a special corona, right? Your aperture will be different this time around. Your eyes are going to be wider. You feel me? You'll have the They Live glasses on. So once you get this information, it's akin to having a new set of eyes, because you begin to see things completely different based off of how you've been programmed to see things. Because I even remember when I was in my drunken, sunken state, I used to look at European Nordic people like they were 60 foot high, not 6 feet high, 60 foot high, because that's the programming that I was receiving at one point in my in my ignorant innocence phase of life. So without any further ado, let me open the floor back up to my good brother, who was doing a great job. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it. We're good for the rest of the night. We're just silver surfing through the retrograde. I'm left-handed, so we have a different effect on it. So, let's get to the second question of the night. The first one, you answered it, and I believe you qualified what it is that you were, the statement that you made. So I want to know, do race and nationality have the same meaning and application? Many people would love to know this.
All right. I'm going to reference the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Yes.
Article 15, Section 1 and 2 states that everyone has the right to a nationality, and that no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality, nor denied the right to change his nationality. There is construction in international law, and what construction means is that the words are taken out of its original meaning, application, and sense, and therefore are suppressed, and new meanings are constructed for political gains. The word nationality is tied to consanguinity, ancestry, lineage, descent, pedigree, parentage. In the 1935 German Nationality Act, Germany used German in its consanguinity sense, whereas prior to that, Germany was using German in a political sense. Nationality, so citizenship in international laws, nationality and citizenship has been used interchangeably. I'm going to read. Let's put our thinking cap on. Critical thinking. Critical thinking. Let's see what's going on here, y'all. This is the International Justice Resource Center on citizenship and nationality. I want you to put our critical thinking on. Listen to me carefully. Although the terms nationality and citizenship technically have two distinct meanings, internationally, human rights courts and advocate at times use the two terms interchangeable. Let me read this interchangeably. Let me read this again. This is the International Justice Resource Center. Citizenship and nationality. Although the terms nationality and citizenship technically have two distinct meanings, internationally, human rights courts and advocates at times use two terms interchangeably. All right, what's going on there? Now, the International Justice Resource Center is not taking the position of Abdullah BEY. The International Justice Resource Center is being passive. Let's look at the tenure, what's going on. They're being passive. They have two that they mention in one breath. They have two distinct meanings. But internationally, human rights courts and advocates at times use the term interchangeably. This is very important, y'all, for us to understand. There's a political agenda. I have to go to understand the political agenda. The 1648 Peace of Westphalia. The 1648 Peace of Westphalia ended the 30-year war, and about 25 European states came together. And that was in 1646 was when they convened, and they constructed the Peace of Westphalia. The modern concept of statehood was constructed in 1646 at the conference that constructed the Peace of Westphalia, 1648. So this construction has been allowed we have to organize politically and take a stand against that. This is birthright theft. Using citizenship and nationality interchangeably as though they have the same origin, same epistemology, same etymology. You're taking nationality, that is that which is based in genealogy, genetics, that's based in biology. So you're taking nationality that's tied to biology, and then you have citizenship that's political. And then you're saying that they are used interchangeably. That is birthright theft. The nationality is tied to inheritance. The nationality is tied to the mother.
Facts.
So this is I have to go in with this. I really do. This construction is based in the patriarchy. Patriarchy is the suppression of the matriarchal system, the ancient matriarchal and matrilineal system. The matrilineal system where wealth, titles, and inheritance is passed down to the mother line of the king or clan. Patriarchy is the birthright that is to suppress that. That's cheating, cutting off that line of that matrilineal line of descent and introducing an artificial estate stealing, birthright stealing, a cheating process, feudal system of patriarchy. It's lit. What is this based thing? You have to go back. This matriarchy and the Haudenosaunee, known as the Iroquois Constitution. The matriarchy and matrilineal principles are preserved in that constitution. You're talking about a principle that's thousands of years old that was used worldwide. In the book, The Great Cosmic Mother, Monica and Songe go in depth in the political motives of the patriarchal system. Once you understand and have a knowledge base of the ancient system of civilization and its matriarchal and matrilineal principles, you begin to see the motive. This women taking on their husband's name. That's birthright theft. We think that's normal. That's the way it's supposed to be. You know, women taking on their husband. You don't have the measuring stick of ancient civilization. That's birthright. That's you're just interrupted. You stop the flow of the inheritance being passed down to the motherline. So I have to tie this in, and then so this International Justice Center is it's there. Yeah, it's technically they have this two distinct meanings. I'm talking the tone. The tone. Technically, they have two distinct meanings, but in the international human rights courts, let's listen to the tone, as if as if it's all right because it's done in the International Human Rights Court, as if it's all right, as if it's lawful. It's not lawful. It's not well settled. It's construction, and we have to understand that you do have construction in the international arena. One of the terms, another construction that ties to nationality. If you Google acquisition of nationality, let's analyze that.
Right.
Acquisition. You don't acquire nationality. You don't. That's inherited.
Right.
So there's what? They constructed the word acquisition and tied it to nationality. They suppressed inherit. So, people just look at, this in international law, they got what is called acquisition of nationality, which means they're not thinking critically. They don't understand words.
Right.
So that I'm employing the importance of etymology as we go along here. All right.
Exactly. Teach, brother. Let me ask you this as well as we move forward. Do nationality and citizen have the same meaning in application?
Absolutely not.
Okay, please build on that.
Let's go back to the German national. Now I'm going to go into why the 1935 German Nationality Act. You have what's called jus soli and jus sanguinis. Jus soli, soli's land, sanguinis, blood. And throughout the 1800s, there was a political football between jus soli and jus sanguinis in Germany. Now, when you're talking about the inheritance, the protection of the rights of the people, the sovereignty of the people, what Germany did in 1935 was went back to the sovereign protection of the people by defining German in its consanguinity sense and not in a political sense. I'm showing you there that they do not have the same meaning. Nationality is tied to consanguinity, which in turn is tied to the mother, the matrilineal principles, which in turn is tied to the land and inheritance and protection of title, treaty protection, culture, the wealth is all tied to the mother and passed down through the mother line. This is an ancient, well-settled principle. To reiterate the point, patriarchy suppresses that. So we have to see patriarchy at the root of some of the modern international law policies. We have to be able to discern. All right. You have a question to that red pill?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. My next question would be, what evidence do you have to prove that our people are not black?
All right, great question. What you would do, I want people to listen to me carefully.
Right.
You would use documentary evidence. So if a black, say black, that means that I can go to records, treaties. I can go to correspondences written by ambassadors or consuls or consul generals. If France is if France is writing to some black nation, or Germany or England, looking at treaties, the black nation and France in the 1960 treaty. There's no such documentation. Just keep it simple. Just kiss this. Look to documentation, treaties, letters, diplomatic correspondences of a nation, of president, emirs, ambassadors, beys, days of a black nation.
Right.
There's never been a black nation that ever existed. There's no documentary evidence. Someone bring the best scholars, bring the best scholars, bring the best scholars. Show me letters, treaties, diplomatic correspondence of a nation ever existing.
Right.
I'm using documentary evidence to prove that our people are not black. For there's never been such nation on this planet that ever existed.
Explain your experience in teaching nationality to 5,000 students classified as black in the Camden City public schools. Give us that story.
Oh man, yes. Well, as I taught 5,000 students, a lot of the students classified as Moors classified as black, Negro, colored, African American, as well as Moors classified as Spanish, Latino, Puerto Rican. They would say to me, "The BEY, what do you mean? What are you talking about? You're black. Look at you." In fact, students will come up to me, they will walk up to me, and they will grab my arm. They would grab my wrist. "Look, you're black." Once again, that's Carl Linnaeus, Francois Benaire, Johann Friedrich Blumenbach. I would even show them the word Blackamoor, right in the dictionary that's in the classroom, and explain black plus more.
Can you give the people if you can give them the definition of Blackamoor?
Yes, we'll definitely go. Yes, we'll go into that.
We will.
But I'm just explain. Yes, I did. Actually, first, you would look at the grammar. You'll show in the unabridged dictionaries, Blackamoor is placed in the brackets. Black is lowercase plus more. More is capitalized. Black is an adjective, so therefore it's not an identity. So I asked you, well, what is your identity? What is your national identity? You said black. Well, you're using the descriptive word. You're using an adjective as a substitute for noun. When I ask you to identify, all right, identify this. Cell phone. Describe it. It's black. Then you have to decide the size of it. Identify it. Cell phone. Identify this. Tarboose. Describe it. Black. Identify tarboose. And those are lessons that I would give. I would give those type of lessons. And this was challenging. Because their friends, the teachers are saying they're black. The teachers are calling themselves black. The administrators, their parents, their people, their relatives, the people in the community where they're born and raised. So I am this lone ranger, that would see them, because I substituted and I would have different classes, different days, so this lone ranger explained to the students how they are not black and how they are in fact Moors. I never gave up. I continued to, teach. And there were students who would see me in the hallway. Tell them, Mr. BEY, that they're not black. Tell them. Mr. Bey. So there was time. So you just, but keep in mind, this is not, understand what I was up against. I didn't have them every day. I actually end up, by the end of the school year, I would be at a school for an entire year, and I would actually have the entire school. I would have actually have taught the entire school body, student body, because I've had different classes, different grade levels. So it was actually a great experience. Now, those. Let me tell you about my experiences teaching Moors classified as Negro color, teaching getting the concept across to Moors classified as Spanish, Latino, Puerto Rican. I recall being one day being in the classroom, and the student, a female student, mentioned something about Rihanna being black. And I said, why do you say that Rihanna's black? You know, and then they said, well, you're black, Mr. Bey. I said, well, why you said that I'm black? Because of what you look like. What do you mean, Mr. Bey? So I said, all right, no problem. So I stood up and said, all right, we have a Dominican, my complexion, a Cuban, my complexion, a Nicaraguan, my complexion, a Colombian, my complexion. What would you call, you got this Dominican, my complexion. He is, Mr. Bey, he's Dominican. Oh, I'm lost. You said that I'm black because of what I look like. But wouldn't they be black too? Wouldn't they be black? Why are you saying they're Dominican? Why aren't you saying they're black? You said that I'm black because of what I look like. Well, we look the same complexion. Why are you not calling them black? So I learned a lot. I really did. What lesson would you get out of that? That Moors classified as Latino, Spanish, Puerto Rican are more aware of those of Moors classified as Latino and black, Negro, colored. Now, why would they insisting on saying that I'm black? Because they're friends. You know, I don't speak with an accent. They wouldn't call Sammy Sosa black. They would not call Sammy Sosa black. They would say he's Dominican. So what I did was brought this to light. I brought it to center stage. Let's look at this. Another experience with the student. With one student. This is after having taught over 4,000 students. I was in the classroom. The student was 2 rows behind me, directly in line with me, 2 rows behind. I was at the front of the classroom, and we was about to start the class. The student said, "Mr." As over 4,000 students asked me, "Mr., what are you?" So I pasted. I pasted for a few seconds. I mean, what is your nationality? Stunned, surprised, I walked over to him. I said, "Excuse me, you mind my asking you where you from?" "Well, my family's from Trinidad and Tobago." I said, "Oh, all right. Well, the reason I asked you because you're the only student that ever asked me that question. What is your nationality?" Remember, he self-corrected.
Right.
He self-corrected.
Right.
He first said, just like 4,000 students, Mr. What are you? He self-corrected.
Right.
That's an awareness. That's an awareness. So those are some of my experiences.
Great segue to this next question that I have. What evidence do you have that our people are Moors?
All right,
Like,
right on.
what's your receipts?
I love this. I love this question, man. I love this question. In my book, Moors and Masonry,
Right.
I chronicle.
Excellent book, by the way.
What's that?
Excellent book, by the way.
Yes,
Excellent book, by the way.
Yeah, about 20 years of research. Now, what I'll do in Moors and Masonry 2, and I've done in Moors and Masonry 1, I correlated the time period of the European colonization,
right,
of this part of Morocco. So that's Portugal, Spain in Portugal and Spain in the 1500s, France in the end of the 1500s,
right,
England, the Netherlands. During that same time period, those 5 countries that colonized our land here were negotiated treaties with Morocco. They had entered into trade and commerce treaties to expand their trade and commerce.
Trade routes.
This is key. I want people to be able to articulate this when they're asked that question. I want to be able to defend it. Just going to keep it simple. Just parallel the time period of Morocco's power and the Europeans' colonization. This parallel. This is what they're suppressing because they don't want you to be able to make that correlation. Who was they negotiating treaties with? Who they were seeking treaties from us because they needed to expand their trade and commerce. They needed protection. They needed a protection treaty from molestation from Morocco.
They were paying tribute.
1533 and 1533 under Francis. This was during the European colonization under Francis I. That was the first French colony here in Morocco, what they call North America.
Right.
In 1533, Francis I entered into a treaty with Morocco for trade and protection of the trade. That's 1533. Once you start correlating these dates, also the so-called transatlantic slave trade, the same countries, Portugal, France, Spain, the Netherlands, and England. Right. So that's what I did. I did that in Moors and Masonry. I correlated the time periods. When you take our environment out, what they did was they took us out, and then they just chronicled, treaties among themselves, wars among themselves. All right. Now, what I did was I placed us back. Into the history. Therefore, you draw a different conclusion. It's just using inductive reasoning as well as deductive reasoning. If you don't have the evidence, if you don't have the information, you cannot draw the proper conclusion. You only going to draw conclusions from information that it's in front of you.
Right.
So what I did was I examined history textbooks used in the schools. And I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just place us back in. I'm going to place us back in. What's called the period of exploration. What I did was place us back in the spice trade.
Right.
The spice trade over 2,000 years ago was the Carthaginians. Then the Moors, they took over the spice trade.
Right.
Then the Europeans took over the spice trade from the Moors. See, once you start seeing that, those sequence of events, who are these people? Who claimed to have enslaved us? Who are these? Portugal, France, Spain, Great Britain / England, and the Netherlands. All those 5 countries was in dealing with military engagement with Morocco. We seized their ships. They were paying tribute to us, ransom, all 5 of them.
Privateers.
Draw the correlation. And Red Pill, I want y'all to know, Red Pill in 2010, might have the year wrong. Red Pill did an excellent, you know what I'm talking about. Red Pill did an excellent presentation, y'all, at the National Black Theater. That class, the Moorish class.
Yeah, 4 weeks in a row, I believe.
Red Pill had an excellent. I said, "Oh, shut!" This before Moors Mainstream came out. This is about 5 years. He did that 5 years before Moors Mainstream came out. He actually had DVDs, and I had caught Red Pill in 2012. Now we need to collaborate, Red Pill, because Red Pill was the only one besides me. Hear me out. Besides me, Red Pill is the only one that I know that went in like I went in. I got it. Well, I'm being honest. I got to give you props. Yeah, bro. I'm being honest. He did that 4 Red Pill's the only one that I know that's on my level that went in like that.
That means a lot coming from you, my brother.
I'm keeping it real, bro.
Real. I appreciate that. Nah, I really do. You know, I definitely do. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate those flowers right there. That mean a lot. So keep cooking. Look, the next question that I have. I want to know, explain, the Moorish political body takes the case. Like, explain what would the roadmap look like if the Moors and the Moors, came together and they decided that they wanted to go to the international court, right? As a political body to take the case of justice and address the mass denationalization of our people, even though they have not declared their Moorish nationality.
All right, good question. All right. I was told 28 years ago that in order for conscious Moors like myself and yourself,
right,
to represent unconscious Moors, like I was told that couldn't be done. I was told that couldn't be done. I was told that,
I remember I was too,
that we could not represent unconscious Moors in any platform, anywhere, that they have to be conscious and nationalized. That never set with me. Never. That had never in 28 years set with me. Well, they never sit well with me. Never. I said, they're Moors though. They're not black, nigga colored. They're my people. They're my people. They're Moors. They're not black, nigga colored. No such people. They're Moors. Here we go. Let's go back to Article 1. Article 15. I'm going to get substance. You know me. Article 15. Section 1 and 2 of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Here we go. States that everyone has a right to a nationality, and further states no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality nor denied the right to change his nationality. All right, here we go. Is black a nationality?
No.
Millions of other people say they're black all day long. They can say black, black, black. They can check black off all day long. Black, 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 black. We can challenge that. Black is not a nationality. They are being denied. All right, what I'm saying is, let's not first argue that they're Moors. Please hear me out. Just using strategy, y'all. Just using strategy. Just put that to the side right now. Just put that to the side. Don't put that to the side. They're Moors. They're Moors. Don't put that to the side. Just focus on. Here we go. Let me read it again. Universal Declaration. You got to use strategy, y'all. Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that everyone has a right to a nationality, and further states no one shall be deprived of his nationality, nor denied the right to change his nationality. Of course, that's called constructive. But all right, argue this. Argue this. Don't focus right now that they're Moors right now. Argue that. Is black a nationality? They're being denied their nationality. Is black 1979, which is the International Year of the Child. This is worldwide celebrations. Nations had enacted funding. President Carter, Jimmy Carter, funding was set aside for this, events. 1979 that's the International Year of the Child. Principle the Declaration of the Rights of the Child. Principle 3: every child at birth should have a right to a name and nationality. Let's not argue that they're Moors right now. See, when I said that never settled with me. See, once you accept that, once you accept someone saying, well, there's no way, absolutely no way, absolutely no way. I never accepted that. So, but what if I did accept that? Then my senses are shut down. Then I'm not thinking. I stopped thinking about strategies. So, well, let's argue the fact that blacks is not a nationality. That they're being denied. That we're stepping up. No one else is saying that. No one else is claiming them. No one on the planet. No one on the planet is claiming them. No one on the planet is claiming them. No one on the planet is making this argument. We are. We're going to make this argument. That they're being denied. Black's not a nationality. Just a strategy. Strategy. And I like to get feedback from people. I like to get feedback. If we may, Red Pill. I like to get feedback.
Yes. Okay.
Feedback, anyone.
Say it again.
I like to get some feedback from the listeners.
Oh, nah. I'm putting the feedback on the screen. Can you see are you able to read the screen?
Oh, all right, I got you.
Right. So I don't want to, interrupt you. So I was putting, what they, what the people are saying,
Oh, I got you.
100.
I can see.
Yeah, they love the information. Right. Yeah. What I could do is at the end, I might be able to bring a few people in if you want them to ask you questions and hear them saying.
I'll continue teaching. I'll continue teaching. So we'll go to the next question. Thank you.
No doubt. All right. How would Moorish treaties protect our people that's classified as black?
All right. That correlates with that correlates with what I just said. All right.
Right.
Now, we will use Moorish treaties to, as a political body, forming a political body, you use Moorish treaties as evidence of a pre-existing relationship with France and Great Britain and the Netherlands and Switzerland,
Right.
and Portugal and Spain. And then Portugal, France, the Netherlands, Great Britain, Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that everyone has a right to a nationality, and further state that no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of their nationality nor denied their right to change their nationality. Would you agree? We have an existing treaty relationship. This is mass denationalization. Millions of people for over 200 years have been denied. They were born. So therefore it violates the international rights of the child. Every child at birth. So at birth, they were deprived.
Right.
But be in a political position as a organized governing body. Not Abdullah Bey can't do it. Abdullah Bey can't go anywhere because they have to record. You have to be a state.
Right.
What did they say to what's her name's mother? Mike Brown's mother. They say she had to be she's not a state. She's going by herself.
Right.
So you have to be a state. So therefore, with that, you can invoke those treaties. You can reestablish relationship with France and Great Britain and Switzerland and the Netherlands and Germany. Position yourself politically.
Right. That's what I was going to ask you that, just for clarification purposes.
Mm-hmm.
The organization of the people as a political party is what you're saying will be able to establish, the treaties.
We will be able to enforce the treaties.
Enforcing the treaties, correct.
And then also get assistance from the treaty nations and also from the family of nations and addressing the over 200 years of mass denationalization of our people.
Right.
This is a grave violation. So political unity is the strategy.
Indeed. I'm going to pose a question from the audience. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
Here we go. How you get paper? No.
Go ahead.
How do you get paperwork to prove you're a Moorish native and claim sovereign?
All right. The key is, it's not the paperwork first.
Right.
I got it. Thank you for the question.
Yes, that had to be asked.
That question is born out of, you have my observation for 28 years, you have individuals who are not operating in government structure, individual. And they're going to the occupying power, the child of Great Britain, United States.
Right.
On their own, not within a government structure, not holding elections, not having reestablished their ties with the treaty nations, not under the reversion to sovereignty, re-enter the international community as an old and original state. They have not laid the groundwork to do that. Right. They're going on their own. The question is born out of some failure. that was born out of some failure, that they weren't recognized. So they're, well, how do you get it to, get record, it's born out of failure. This is 28 years of observation. What needs to be done is to reestablish diplomacy from governmental structure with the treaty nations. We enter the international community from a governing. We need to facilitate a national central governing body. There's 5 people claiming to be the representative of the Moorish Empire. This lack of political legitimacy, lack of public elections. 28 years of observation. All right.
Indeed. Thank you, everybody that's sending the cash apps at the end of the show. I would definitely give y'all a shout out.
Show some love, y'all. This brother been grinding.
Like brothers, I understand the brothers grinding. Y'all only knew what it take to put these shows together. Yeah, right. Look, how can your books, The Moors and Masonry Part 1 and The Moors and Masonry Part 2, help facilitate national political unity among our people?
Red Pill, I was remiss. I want to, before I get into that, answer that question, Red Pill. Yes. I want to give more evidence for Blackamoor. This is all right.
Oh, please do.
Very
yes,
important.
And that again.
All right. Okay. In the 1599 Geneva Bible.
Okay.
Jeremiah 13:23.
Right.
Can the black Moor, black is lowercase, it's a space, Moor is capitalized. That's key. Black is lowercase, Moor is capitalized. The B in black is lowercase, the M in Moor is capitalized.
Right.
Can the black Moor change his skin, or the leopard his spot? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. You also have that. You also have Blackamoor, that same structure, black, lowercase, Moor, capitalized, in Jeremiah 38:7, Jeremiah 38:10, there, Jeremiah 39:16, Jeremiah 46:9. Once again, 1599 Geneva Bible. I'm going to read Ezekiel 29:10. Behold, therefore I come upon thee, and upon the rivers I will make the land of Egypt utterly waste and desolate, from the tower of Cyrene even unto the borders of the black Moors. Once again, black lowercase, Moors capitalized. I'm going to read Ezekiel 39. That's chapter 30, verse 9. Right. In that day shall their messengers go forth from me in ships, to make the careless Moors, this just means Moors now, afraid, and fear shall come upon them as in the day of Egypt, for lo, it cometh. Now in J. Rogers' book, so just finishing up this point, J. Rogers' book, chapter 6, Nature Knows the Color Line. Chapter 6 is titled The Negro as Moor in the European Aristocratic Families. J. Rogers presents 50 variations of Moors used as European family names in Italian, Dutch, Flemish, Danish. And he also uses variations of Blackamoor and reference a 14th century dictionary, 1300s, with Blackamoor in it. So what? From Moor to Blackamoor to black, I'm showing references. Of Blackamoor, showing references of Moor. All right. So ask the question again, Red Pill.
Yes, indeed. Let's get it. How can your books, Moors and Masonry Part 1 and Moors and Masonry Part 2, help facilitate national political unity among our people?
All right. Because of the documentary evidence, I record. Let me say this. I spoke to a brother yesterday, and I hadn't spoken to him in about 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And I told him that Moors and Masonry Part 2 is coming out this spring. And he says, "What can I look forward?" And I said, "What you can see is I chronicle that those Moorish treaties between Morocco and England protected the English colonial ships and merchants in the British Dominion on Moorish soil, leaving from British Dominion on Moorish soil, they call North America, to England in the Mediterranean during the 1700s. So I went, with the documentary evidence, it gives us, it would, let me say this. I'm going to give, in 1968, because I want to give references, all right, to make my point. I want, so I'm not just coming out of left field.
Right.
In 1968, a representative of Ceylon presented in the General Assembly the case was made was Ceylon a new state or original and old state? The representative of Ceylon argued that Ceylon was an old state. The representative pointed to 1900 treaties, making a point. So I had to go there. I wanted to give a live case, live case, to show that this is how Moors and Masonry can be used as live cases, as documentary evidence.
Right.
That Morocco is not a new state, that we will not be entering the international community. We will be re-entering the international community of family and nations as an old and original state. The 1952 case, which I chronicle in reference in the Moors and Masonry Part 2, between France and the United States in the International Court of Justice, that was based on who had the most favorable nation claim. Would it be France or the United States? France used Moorish treaties from 1631 to 1892. Those are the primary treaties that were used to adjudicate that case. Moorish bilateral treaties with France, the Netherlands, Great Britain, also that the United States, that Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1787, Switzerland, Netherlands, Belgium, Sardinia, from 1631 to 1892. France stood on Moorish treaties to make her claim. I want to give references. I want to give cases. That's a stare decisis case. That's a stare decisis case that we can use. That's a stare decisis case in the International Court of Justice. I got to give cases. Cases are stronger to use as opposed to my just coming up with stuff. I want to give cases.
How many cases would you say there is?
Well, this as far as cases relative to treaties being used, there's other cases relative to the new state claim versus the old state claim.
Right.
So once again, Moors and Masonry can be used because that's documentary evidence. That's war records. That's treaties. That's letters. That's used to prove this extensive diplomatic relations with France, the Netherlands, Spain, Switzerland, Denmark, Sardinia. That's how Moors and Masonry can be used.
All right. First and foremost, Islam. To the God, Chicago.
To this day. To this day.
Question the brother has. Salute KTL family, Islam Red Pill. Salute to the Elder Abdullah just tapping in. He wanted to know, has anyone asked to break down how these lands here are Morocco?
Break down how these lands are Morocco. All right.
Yes.
This is all right. This is what I do. I use Moors and Masonry again. Let's go back to Moors and Masonry.
Okay.
I correlate the time period of the European colonization, 15, 16, 1700s. Who were they dealing with? Who did France, Portugal, Spain, the Netherlands? Let's even go back to Phoenicia, what they called the Spain, political zone Spain. Who ruled? Who ruled 700, 800, 900, 1100? Who ruled? Who were they dealing with?
Right.
But please hear me carefully. Because what happens, Red Pill, is that we overlook the simple things.
Right.
Just correlate events. You talking about and you see in Moors and Masonry, this is extensive. This is not some 1 year. This is not some lone event. You're talking about military engagements. You're talking about treaties engagements where we were in position of power. They needed the treaties with us to expand their trade and commerce into Atlantic. This is huge. When you start examining it the way Red Pill and I have done, with detailed examination of extensive diplomatic relations, extensive military engagement, extensive tribute payments. They're sending consuls to us, advancing, religious orders establishing. Just correlate the times with the events. Who were in power? They were all right. This is what they suppressed. The Ottoman Empire and the Moroccan Empire were two world powers that they suppressed. Two world powers. Just put that back into perspective. Put that back into history. Two world powers. What they do, what you read in the textbooks, is the interchange that they have among each other. It's almost as if we never existed. It's almost as if we never existed. As if they never paid us tributes. That's what they want you to think, so you won't be able to make the claim.
Right.
Red Pill. I present stuff I can prove. I'm not going to present anything on this show tonight that I cannot prove. I'm not going to make any outlandish statements. I don't do that. I don't make outlandish statements and stuff. Why? Because they're going to ask me to prove it. Then I look like a fool. I refuse to look like a fool. I refuse to look like a fool.
Yeah, not up here.
I was laughed at. Hear me out. I was laughed at by co-workers, European co-workers. Hear me out, y'all. Please hear me out. European co-worker, you know what that feels like? That European co-workers laughed in my face. Why are they laughing in your face, Abdullah? Because I said 35 Moors was at the United States Constitutional Convention. Mr. BEY, can you prove that? That's my answer. I gave my answer. I'm not saying nothing. I can't.
Right.
Brother, I love those European co-workers to this day. I said, I can't do that. I said, I'll never do that again. I will never make a claim that I cannot prove. I will never be laughed at again. Never again. Ever again will I be laughed at. So I'm not making any loud things. That's why I'll say, let's correlate the events. That's all. that start correlate the event of this tremendous power.
I hear that. So, what is nationalization for the Moors?
All right, great question. Great question.
Yes.
Nationalization for the Moors is bringing, because no paperwork can make you a Moor. There's no paperwork. There's no process that makes you a Moor. So what can it be? You're already a Moor. You're born that. You ain't just. What can it be? It's a political process of bringing the Moors back under the protection, back under the sovereignty of Morocco and the Moorish flag and the protection of Moorish treaties. That's it. Keep it cut. This is short. If you don't have a political structure, you ain't nationalizing anyone. Hear me out, y'all. You cannot nationalize anyone if there is no political structure. We have to reorganize a political structure and reconnect with the treaty nations and the human family, because nationalization, again, is bringing the Moors back under the protection of, not the United States, under the protection of the Moroccan Empire, the protection of the Moorish flag, and the treaties. That is what nationalization for the Moors is. That's all it can be. There's no people that can make you a Moor.
Okay. All right. Some would say that our people are free based on the success of a small few, and as a result, state that oppression is a mindset. How would you respond to this statement?
Wow, that's a deep statement there.
Yes.
Well, you have what's called redlining, where banks actually use redlining on the map,
right?
You know, to determine, to give out loans for housing and to shut off certain areas. Well, that's not a mindset. You also have what there were Europeans got lesser sentences for cocaine use, and they put harsher sentences on our people for crack. That's not a mindset. Prisons, there's 19 in 2000. You have judges pensions and teachers pensions were invested in prisons. That's not, which means what? Meaning judges, teachers, their pension investment went to prison stocks. That means what? That's not a mindset. That means they have to what? Enact policies.
That's a plan.
To fill the jails. Because you're talking about the stocks.
Right.
1916. In New York, a company that got the contract for New York, from the prisons, sued New York because New York didn't keep the prisons filled. That was a breach. That's called a breach of contract. New York breached the contract because New York in the contract is supposed to keep the prisons filled. They got sued. So the incentive, what is that? The incentive is what? To lock us up. That's not a mindset. Rosewood's not a mindset. Wall Street's not a mindset. Springfield, Illinois is not a mindset. North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina, the whole town, the mayor, the city council, teachers, politicians, all us. They came to the town and snatched us up. They snatched us up. They literally snatched politicians, officials, mayors out of their positions.
Yep.
That's not a mindset. So this people like that, they have to get the facts. They have to get the facts.
Definitely. Hold on. Let me hold on. Explain the recovery of Moor sovereignty under the reversion to sovereignty or post-millennium.
All right. You have reversion to sovereignty and post-millennium. Now, reversion to sovereignty in international law, both of them. Reversion to sovereignty. Now, we look at to invoking both of them. Now, reversion to sovereignty would come about if there is a treaty negotiated, all right, land cession treaty with that we've had with European powers,
right?
Whereas post-millennium deals with war, that deals with captivity,
right?
So I'm looking at we're prisoners of war. So let's explore looking at both of the use of both of them, post-millennium or reversion of sovereignty, under the recovery of our lost Moor sovereignty.
Right.
So post-millennium. Yeah, POSTLIMIUN, post-millennium. No, POSTLIMINIUN, post-millennium.
That's that spelling bee swag.
That's a word that we have to, get down. That's we both terms.
That's definitely a word.
Reversion to sovereignty and post-millennium under the recovery of sovereignty. So I'm introducing some new terminology.
Yeah, now put it up on post-millennium. All right, go ahead, keep cooking.
Yep. So that's there with that. Then with post-millennium, that. So I'm going to go I'm going to go into explaining. When we get to the next question, I'm going to read a brochure.
Okay.
Because I'm going to tie that in. I'm going to go back to that question. All right. This ties it in.
Right.
What's the next one? Red Pill.
What is the Moorish Imperial Restoration Caucus?
All right, I'm going to read the brochure. I'm going to read the Moorish Imperial Restoration Caucus brochure.
Right.
All right, and I'll tie post-millennium back in reversion to sovereignty. In June 2019, over 50 Moors assembled to form the Moorish Imperial Restoration Caucus to bring our people now classified as Black, Negro, Colored, African American, Latino, Spanish, Indian, etc., back under the tree of divine, natural, and positive law, so as to reconnect the principles of our ancient mothers and fathers as the founding civilized people who first inhabited and civilized, cultivated the earth. Also, our ancient mothers and fathers set among themselves a political, civic, and economic structure to contract one nation to another. The Moorish Imperial Restoration Caucus observed that addressing centuries of European colonization of Moorish land and the mass denationalization through modern constructive race paradigm as the root cause of generations have brought about mass incarceration, crime, drug abuse, homelessness, poor housing conditions, poor health care, miseducation, and high illiteracy, would be a daunting and never-ending endeavor if continued on a case-by-case basis. Yeah. Through the study of treaties, treaty cases, international law, acts, agreements, covenants, conventions, constitution and court cases in the International Court of Justice, the Moorish and Pure Restoration Caucus learned that facilitating the formation of a national Moorish governing body among the various Moorish provincial body politics would be the most prudent approach to addressing centuries of European colonization of Moorish land and the mass denationalization through modern constructive race paradigm. By assembling into a national governing body and forming a national constitution among ourselves, we will reestablish our rights and duties of statehood as a returning state into the international community of nations. By reclaiming our pre-existing Moorish sovereignty through a national governing body, we will position ourselves politically to reestablish diplomacy with the treaty nations with which we negotiated treaties between 1610 and 1892, England / Great Britain, France, Spain, Portugal, United States, Netherlands, Denmark, Sardinia, and Belgium. Since March of 2021, the Moorish and Pure Restoration Caucus has been teaching Moorish provincial constitutional and government classes. Purpose of Moorish provincial constitution and government classes. The first order of civilization for the Moors is to restore government in our Moorish communities, to teach the Moors how to create legitimate government and constitutional structure in our Moorish communities, to teach the Moors what kind of government structure that leads the Moors back to ancient government principles. About Moorish and Pure Restoration Caucus mission is the facilitation of the various Moorish provincial body politics into one central grand governing body. Her seal. The seal symbolizes the Moorish and Pure Restoration Caucus national call and the facilitation for national political unity, reversion to sovereignty, the restoration of our Moorish government. Components of the seal: Phoenix bird, Ouroboros, 3 pyramids, crescent moon, 12 zodiac sign. We commit to the restoration of Moorish sovereignty, to facilitate national governing body through political legitimacy, to address centuries of European colonization of Moorish lands and the 200 years of mass denationalization, to facilitate a permanent population through a Moorish national registry. All right. Now, to get the Moorish body politic classes, which are free, you go to the academyofprovidence.org. Put that in the chat. Someone put that in the chat. academyofprovidence.org to get the Moorish body politic formation classes. Those are free. Now we have the Academy of Providence also offer classes that paid classes. All right. We have a current class, which actually began last Thursday, which is getting hooked on grammar 301, which I teach class phrases, gerunds, and participles. All right, so we just finished up the class about a month ago on public administration and international law. All the classes are uploaded on the academyofprovidence.org's website. All right, but once again, the free class is the Moorish body politic formation class. That is free. You go to the academyofprovidence.org and you have to register and create a student profile with your own personal password. All right, so looking forward. The class is still open. Like I said, the Moorish, the Hooked on Grammar 301 course started last Thursday, but the class is still open because the classes are recorded and uploaded. They're viewed live via Zoom, recorded and uploaded onto the student portal. So I thank you, Red Pill.
Can you break down those four? Can you break down those the 4 topics that you go over in Hooked on Grammar again for the family that's out there?
Well, yes, the Hooked on Grammar 301, it's deal with phrases, that is gerunds, participles, and infinitives. Let me give an example.
Right.
Swimming. I'll use dancing. Dancing is my daughter's favorite pastime. Dancing is my daughter's favorite pastime. Dancing is the gerund. A gerund is a verb form dance that ends in ing that functions as a noun. So in the sentence, dancing is my daughter's favorite pastime, dancing is the subject. It's the noun, it's the subject. Now I'll give you another sentence. The dancing doll was on display at the mall. The dancing doll was on display at the mall. Dancing in this case is a participle, in this case, a present participle. A participle is a verb form dance that ends in ing, ed, t, en, d. All right, that functions as an adjective. So dancing doll, dancing modifies the noun doll. All right, so we deal with critical thinking analysis. All right, as reading as grammar is the basics of fundamental building block to reading comprehension and more effective writing. So we employ critical thinking and analysis and teaching grammar.
There you have it for all of the people who know the importance of proper grammar, and especially those that are out there that want their children to master the languages, the science of the grammar. This is your guy right here. Tap in. You know, we make our network available to the quality of membership that we have in KTL University. And I look forward. Hold on a minute. Yeah, so we'll be back doing some more work. You know, we definitely have to put together a workshop. You have a lot of information, and we're just peeling back some layers tonight. You know, but it was a classic episode, a plethora of information you was able to give the people, especially the ones that were taking notes. But you know, rewind buttons are the best way to take notes these days anyway. But you gave people a lot to go and study and research.
Absolutely, it's a lot.
Huh?
It's a lot. But they're fundamental principles.
Thing is a lot.
It's a fundamental
in a place where people are really starved of a quality meal.
Right. Yeah, I'll take that back. Then I'm snatch that back. I snatch that back.
When I go and eat those, when I go to certain plant-based restaurants and the food is just magical, like there's no such thing as a lot. You know, I get mad that I can't eat that much. But you gave the people a full meal, you know, and I know that it will nourish the truth seekers, the ones who are ready to take a lot of their research to levels that you know, and what it's gonna do is it's gonna open up the door to introduce the student body to your books, your body of work. Because I promise y'all, somebody who has collected most of those titles, and I do want to offer you a home at KTL University inside of our cyber library and our book club.
All right,
to the titles and along with some of the
we're gonna work something out.
Yes, we will.
Like I want to put they can go to moorsandmasonry.org. You put that in. Someone put that in the chat. moorsandmasonry.org to get to order in my books.
Right.
Put that in the chat. moorsandmasonry.org.
Right.
Now, I greatly appreciate you, but this brother right here, like I said, I reached out to him in 2012. We said we need to team up, man. Now this is 4 years before Moses Masonry came out. When I called him, I said, man, I tell you, you really did a great job that day at the National Black Theater, that Moorish history class. So you did, bro.
I appreciate you for standing. You know what I mean? Because you know, just the fact that I had that support. You know what I mean? That support meant a lot. So when I went in there, it was that confidence that I needed, that battery, and I delivered. And to see people, teachers such as yourself, that you know I'm learning from, and we're still here doing what we do. You know, man, I appreciate you, brother. Keep building, keep digging, keep mining your mind for those diamonds, those, you know what I mean? Your
Yes.
mind, you know, keep shifting it. So yeah.
Yeah, the crystallization. Yeah, crystallization of the mind. Yes.
That's a factory.
Granular the crystals.
There you go. Right on point. Here's the segue, family. We are living in a day and time where crystals, right, have become one of the top valuable assets that you can have. Why would I say that? Because we've established post C19 that health is the highest asset that you can have, right? The temple, the body, that is the most valuable asset that you can own, right? Nothing outside of that matters, because health is the true wealth. Because if you don't have it, then you don't really have it, right? So the crystals, especially when it comes to mental health, especially when it comes to spiritual health, especially even when it comes to financial health, you see people utilize these gemstones and these crystals for their healing properties, for their manifestation properties, for the grounding properties, for all of the properties that they say that they have. They stay true to their word, because a diamond will always refracts light when you put it in the sun ray. It will always bling. Copper will always conduct currents. Quartz will always be a conductor. It doesn't wake up and say, I don't feel like being an amethyst today, right? It's consistent. The rock market is more stable than the stock market. How about that? So we are on our way to a convention that I would say is, you know, people going to crypto conventions, and that's cool. You hanging out with the whales and whatnot, but we going to the crystal convention where the real money is at. I promise you. And nothing is the same after we come back from there. So I just want to bid the people farewell, because the person that you see before you is not going to be the person that comes back, because this is a whole experience. This is a this is a spiritual trip. So yeah, we're gonna be doing a workshop on Thursday, y'all. Me, Ross Ben, Illuminati Congo, and I might have some other special guests. This is history. You know what I mean? The link is in the bio. Go and get your tickets. It's on KTLUniversity.com. This is a soft rollout for KTL University. We're gonna have a bigger rollout, of course, you know, but this is our site right now for all of our supporters, everybody who been telling me get off of YouTube, been telling me get off of Instagram. You know what I mean? They can't shadow ban his shadow boss doing his shadow work, who's a shadow boxer in his, you know, shadow self. So, you know, we building our own things. We have our Discord popping. Go and join Know the Ledger on the Discord. Shout out to Little Goddess and shout out to Destiny, all of the mods handling the chat and taking care of the people, dropping the links, giving them a flood of information. Almost too much. It's almost a deluge. But, you know, that's what happened when you active. You know what I mean? Do you want to leave them with anything, Brother Abdul?
Yes. Political legitimacy is the key.
Right.
Political legitimacy. We cannot have this self-appointment where there's 5 Moors coming together saying that they are the Moorish national, whatever, you know, claiming the Moorish sovereignty. 5, you need political legitimacy. You will not, the international community will not cheat with you. You must show honor among ourselves. We must facilitate honor among ourselves. We got to get back to that honor. We got to get back to the principles.
Right.
Free open elections, nominations, free open elections. You must show, you must demonstrate to the world political legitimacy.
Hold on.
To this day. To this day.
Talk that sass. Yeah, man. You know, Do me a favor, tell next time you speak to Brother Taj, let him know Brother Red Pill says salute. You know what I mean?
All
It's
right.
been a while. I
Yes.
missed it. Yeah, I would love
Yes.
to catch up with the master teacher and continue our narrative, our conversation. We've been having an ongoing conversation for more than 10 years as well on these internets, on these digital highways. So
Absolutely.
that being said, family, I look forward to seeing whoever I see out there in AZ. If I don't see you in the flesh, I look forward to seeing you in cyberspace on February the 4th. You know what I mean? 2/4. We have some beautiful, powerful announcements on 2/2. If you don't have the stream for that, you could go ahead and get that as well. Go ahead and cop that at the Crypto Crystal Convergence. You can find that on, I believe it's on, maybe on Eventbrite, but you will find it on my link tree on my IG. All right, and also for those of y'all that had a full meal, I always let y'all know. Hit up the Cash App for the tips that you leave the waiter. You know what I mean? Because we put these meals together. Shout out to everybody that already left a tip. Joseph. Shout out to Marcus. Shout out to Jim Animal. Nashubu. Shout out to Tamira L. Shout out to Jeffrey. You know what I mean? Shout out to OG. And I have to leave and say this, and this is on a somber note, but where there's joy, there's pain, and where there's happiness, there's sadness. And we still have to deal with the fact that although we are Moors, uplifting fallen humanity, that humanity is still fallen. So I'm asking the family tonight to please, in your hearts and your minds, send energy out to a young brother who happens to be my family. You know what I'm saying? The brother Nas Blicky, you know what I mean? He's in critical condition. You know what I mean? He's a drill rapper out of Brooklyn, you know what I mean? And his father is brother Will I Am. You know what I mean? AA is his uncle as well. And I'm just asking the family to send a healing energy, send a recovering energy, send that light, please. Send that energy to this young brother. I remember holding the brother in my hands, literally. You dig what I'm saying? So, it's real outside. These children are at war in certain places, not everywhere, but it's becoming, it's the aesthetics. It's out there. So our work has to be, our work is personal. So
Yes.
leave it at that. You know what I mean? Send him that healing, y'all, because he needs that. All right. Love and light.